What's up, you guys? I'm gonna go over a super quick way to figure out your zone 2 without heart rate, without any fancy equations or a lab, and it's actually more reliable than using heart rate, and that is the talk test. So the talk test is shown to be more reliable at figuring out what zone you're in versus heart rate. I use a combination, which at the end of this video, I'll explain kind of my approach. But in general, what is the talk test? For zone 2, you should be able to speak a full sentence and get your point across, and then pause to take a breath, and then be able to speak another full sentence, and you can do that comfortably for quite a while. If you can speak really quite easily and you don't have to stop to take breaths, then you're probably below in your zone 1. And then if you can't speak a full sentence, if you can only speak a couple words, and then you have to breathe, and you don't really want to be talking, it's not that enjoyable to talk, you're probably in your zone 3 and above. You can only speak one word, probably zone 4, and then all the way up the chain. So that's it. Breathing, talking, comfortable, can do it for a long time, probably your zone 2, and a lot of researchers will say that's actually better than using heart rate because the heart rate zones are based off of calculations. We're not quite there yet on having the calculations reflect the zones, because the calculations need your max heart rate and they need your resting heart rate, and these are things that change. And most watches, for example, like my watch tells me my zones, but originally when I got it, because I've changed mine, they go off of my max heart rate based on my age. And me versus someone else my same age with a completely different training background, we're gonna have different max heart rates. It's not as easy as just 220 minus age, and there's other calculations as well, but those aren't accurate, so don't use those. You can do a max capacity test for sure. There's lots out there online, and push yourself and get your max heart rate. You can just use the highest heart rate you've literally ever seen on yourself. That's probably, and you've pushed yourself and you looked down and you saw 187, that's probably your max heart rate, plus or minus one or two beats. So if you want to get into this stuff, you want to figure out your zones, you want to do the calculations, you want to put them in training peaks, whatever, do a max capacity heart rate test, or just use the highest heart rate you've ever seen on yourself. Also recommend using a heart rate monitor to track your heart rate, because this is the gold standard. It's your heart's electrical signal, and it's pretty much exact. It is exact. Anything you wear on your arm isn't. It's based on your arterial flow and different measurements. The other thing with heart rate is it changes based on different variables. So temperature outside, if it's super hot out, your hydration status, your heart rate can kind of go up and down based on different variables. So another reason why it is good to have the talk test as well. Yeah, in saying that, I use both. I use the talk test, my breathing rate, can I breathe through my nose, can I talk, and I know my max heart rate, and I've changed my zones in my watch, and I look at my zones too, because it's just easy to track. You can look on your apps and you can see where you're at and how many minutes you did. But reining it in on the runs with the talk test, super good way. So you can combine the two, or if you don't care about the tech side of it and you just kind of want to get better at it, then you can just use your talk test. And if you have any questions, happy training. Peace.